Here on the Sportscast, we are buzzing to have Hybrid Training Centre as our new main sponsor. Hybrid trains, assess and develops programs for the gas, electrical, plumbing and renewable energy industry. Whether you are looking to build a career in engineering or an employer who wants to upskill his workforce, check out the link in our bio and see what courses Hybrid have on offer.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Sportscast. It's me, Andy Grant. I've got Gary Judge with me from Across the Park podcast, and this will be the first ever Sportscast that doesn't involve any football. So anyway, I did not tell you we're not talking about football this week. Thank you massively to our sponsors, Hybrid Tech College. They are the ones you go and see if you want to get on the tools, you want to upskill all the skills you might already have when it comes to electrics, plumbing and renewable energies. They're the ones you look for. And also, even though we're not there, their workshop restaurant on Liverpool, on the corner of Liverpool Road and St John's Road, are the ones that we're normally in. Obviously, it's on StreamYard this week, as I've done my very best to get out the country ever since Liverpool lost the league at Palace, or at Anfield, to Palace, I should say. I've done my best to just stay out. I've done my best to stay out the country since that fateful 1-0 defeat that lost us the league. So,
not to mention
Anyway, go on. I'll give you another week of your day in the sun talking about football and Liverpool's demise. We probably best start with Liverpool because I think since last week it hasn't gone any better for the Reds. It is
off the pitch.
Exactly. I don't know whether it was a case of I was so, and I want to say I think probably us as Liverpool fans were just kind of almost, I was going to say sold this dream. We almost sold it to ourselves of this fairy tale ending of a quadruple, and Klopp's kind of last, every Scouser's last vision of Klopp being an open top bus parade with 4 trophies, and you're kind of waving to that to this German legend. And I think it just feels even more sad now to know that it's kind of getting pushed over the line. It'll just be a home league game against Wolves.
Whimper.
A whimper, where your star striker Mo Salah, who's hit 20 goals for the last 6 or 7 years, seems to be having murder with the manager who's brought you everything you could ever wish for, and the club is signing a fella whose name no one knew apart from a clothing brand from Warrington. It's just how it's gone from that to this. It's just bizarre, and I'm a little bit. I'll be deadly honest. Listen, everyone who's listened to the Sportscast the last few years and knows me, well, now I'm banging into my footy. I love the Reds and I love everything about it. But I genuinely, since that Palace defeat, I have tried to tone it down a little bit in the sense just because it's gutting, and if you think about it too much, it just started ruining me summer. And I think I have just tried to distance myself. Like I say, I had a couple of holidays booked, and I've tried not to kind of get sucked into. Obviously, it was the derby I was away for it. Thankfully, we got beat, and then there was the game at West Ham. Thankfully, I was away for it. It was a draw. And that's helped me a little bit because there's been nothing to sing about, really, has there? It's been real depressing. Not only the performances, but as you just mentioned, then the off the field stuff with Salah and Klopp. It's just everything you don't want to see as a Liverpool fan. It just literally seems like one of those things where you build those cards up to a big triangle and just someone's just knocked one of them, and you're just waiting and looking to see where the other one's going to go. And it's, I know you're sitting there smiling as I'm saying all this, but I think that's, this is how every Liverpool fan's feeling. It's not been a nice few weeks, and I just think it's been confounded by the fact that it potentially could have been like the best ever, and it's probably our own fault for even thinking that could have happened. A couple of years ago we were close to doing the quadruple. We were 180 minutes away from doing the quadruple, so we know how tough it was. How Liverpool fans, including me, have let ourselves dream of another quadruple. I don't know, but we did. And I think we're all sat here with egg on our faces.
It's horrible when someone does this because you can't you can't go and you can't say much worse than what you've said. And
you're just nodding along saying, haha, yes, you're right, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I'll say is and I say it so much, just welcome to our world, do you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying welcome to our world as if we've got a chance of winning a quadruple, because that's the first thing people say is, you'll never understand that, and you've said that enough, but just it's the hope that kills you. That's the saying so much, the hope that kills you. And the amount of times that this club have got us excited over the years, whether it's with new owners or a new manager or a series of results, and you're like, I'm back in, I'm all in. We could do this, we could do that, and then it's like, bang, hit you again. You haven't had much of that, and it is the worst. I would sooner just be like, no, I wouldn't, and that sounds terrible, we've had this conversation before, I wouldn't sooner mediocrity. That is what football's about. You get excited, and the emotions are what drives it. So to a certain extent, you wouldn't have it any other way. You know, if you wouldn't have been excited, you wouldn't have had maybe, you know, so many good days and good nights along the way. So it is what it is. But in terms of your current situation, it's I can't not take pleasure in it. You know, the one person I've enjoyed seeing suffer more than anyone else, and it seems like it's hurting him, and that's just given me so much more pleasure. Andy fucking Robertson. I hate that man. He's horrible. He's a horrible little rat. And I've just loved seeing him, like, gritting his teeth and biting down on his, almost like biting down his gum shield, trying to just force something, and it's just not there. And
can I just say a quick one on that? I'm one of these, and I think that goes well to bet you're exactly like me. You know, when people say, oh, I'm not bitter and all this, I am, and I know you are. I can't think, I think this is what it's about, you know what I mean? You're sitting there smiling, laughing, taking clearly, just like I did when you were going through. I think that's what it's about, you know what I mean? If you can't have a laugh at your rivals when they're not doing well or not succeeding, then what's the point, you know what I mean? So
yeah, definitely. Definitely, and also, like, you almost want your rivals to, and that's what I said before, it's not as enjoyable when they don't bite back. But like, when you're down as low as you are, it's hard to just give anything back, isn't it? And like, I found it really, like, and I think I said this last week, the fact your fans just didn't even believe the other night. And listen, that, as you said, and I've corrected you, so it wasn't just a Palace defeat, it was our defeat. It was a hammer blow, that for you, and you could see your fans are just like, even if we get a result tonight, it's still not going to make that much difference. But we couldn't really enjoy it as much because your fans weren't really on board with thinking you were going to win.
Yeah, I think that Palace one was, listen, everyone will, and quite rightly so, if you're a Blue, will say, you know, we lost the league at Goodison Park, and maybe there is some truth in that. I weren't there, I don't know what the atmosphere was like from the Red, but I was there for the Palace game, and 100%, you know, that feeling at full time when we got beat 1-0, listen, I took my little girl, she was crying. You know, there was something in the air that day that thought, actually, you know what, this might not play out as we all expected it. 4 days later, we get beat by Everton. A few days later, West Ham. So, yeah, I think, well, obviously, it sounds obvious, but it was there with Palace. I think the scary thing to me, which you alluded to then with off-the-field stuff, was obviously the Klopp and Salah incident. I think, listen, it's been nearly a week on from that now, and I think the best thing I've seen in the media or anyone's really analysis of it was Jamie Carragher's. I think he put a tweet out saying, look, Klopp's a legend, Salah's a legend, let's not try and kind of read too much into it and let them kind of both leave on a high, or not, maybe not Salah leave, maybe he will, maybe he won't, but like, I mean, I'm sure every other fan, including you, probably say, no, let's kind of, you know, throw oil on the fire and let's see what happens. But as a Liverpool fan, I couldn't think of anything worse than, you know, going to, you know, seeing Klopp's last ever game and Salah and Klopp are having a bit of an argument with each other. I mean, it'd be heartbreaking to know that. You know what it feels a little bit like? You know, if anyone who watches Friends, you know, like Ross and Rachel, you're just like, can you two guys just work it out, please? You know, can you just be happy and work it out? And I think, again, obviously no one will really know what happened. I think Salah is probably been frustrated. He's only let on for 10 minutes. I think it was 11 minutes or something. He's probably thought, you know, I've watched Nunez all year, not being able to fucking hit a backdoor with a banjo. And, you know, I've had a couple of bad games, but I've dragged this team at times over the last 6 or 7 years. I've got 20 plus goals each season. How would you put me in the same bracket as anyone else? I think that's maybe being Salah's kind of, I could be completely wrong on that, by the way, but I think that's maybe what it looked like. And I can understand that, by the way. I can totally understand his maybe thinking it, if that's what he was thinking. But at the same time, he's the boss. Look at the success he's brought you. Look at how he's improved you as a player, as a team. I think, come on, have your respect. And I just hope they both had the little moments, and I just hope it can both get swept under the carpet, and hopefully by Monday morning they were fine again.
Darren Ben spoke about it on TalkSport, and obviously as being a striker, he's probably been benched a fair few times in his career as well after scoring goals or whatever, or whilst being leading goal scorer. He said that watching it back a few times and being in that situation himself, it looked to him like Salah had come off the bench with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, kind of, sulking a little bit. Not sulking, just didn't maybe have the body language that Klopp was looking for. And you see Klopp make a comment as if to say, do you want to go on, or are you okay there? And he's kind of a bit back, and what do you think? Do you know what I mean? And then it was like, well, listen, sort yourself out. And it just like, listen, don't you tell me to. And it was like, it was as though to me, Klopp was questioning his attitude, his mentality, whether he was in the right frame of mind to go on. And Salah bit, as if to say, you dare question my commitment to this club. Do you know what I mean? And as you say, by leaving someone out after such a horrible defeat or a horrible couple of defeats, the people you leave out speaks volumes, doesn't it? It's almost saying, these have let you down, and I'm dropping them for that reason. And that was a hurt him. And you're right, I think it's on, because we've had the same actually, and it's gone under the radar, and you won't have even noticed it. And I'll bring it up a little bit more later on. But at half time in that Chelsea defeat, he brought off Anana, I think it was Ghana maybe as well, but he brought off Seamus Coleman. And I'm led to believe it's because Seamus Coleman was trying to basically direct the players on the pitch to change the game plan. And he took him off, and he hasn't played a minute since. So, it's one of them things again where it's gone under the radar because we've won the couple of games since. Again, it was one of them decisions where, as a manager, look, for Klopp, he's leaving in 2 games and he'll always be a legend, and it is what it is. If he had still had 2 years to run on his contract, I think that's a different decision he makes against West Ham.
Oh yeah, you know what? I started thinking that, after the defeat to Everton, I did start thinking it's going to be interesting now to see, I don't know, players, or to see attitude, and to see if anything, things change, because there is definitely within the players or the manager that sense of whether you like it or not, he's not going to be here in a couple of months' time. You know what I mean? And it's like, how do people react? How do things change? Maybe this Klopp inspirational pep talk, which has got us over the line in the past, hasn't quite got the same effect now, because players are like, well, listen, you're fucking gone in 2 months anyway, so it doesn't matter. So you don't know, do you? But I think as a Liverpool fan, it was just heartbreaking to see. Listen, the league's gone. After Everton, it was gone. I think it was just more on a, oh, come on, lads, let's, we don't ruin it now, you know what I mean? It was just, come on, let's all just be mates for the last little bit. But
to be honest, look, as much as I'm dying out on it, I think that'll happen in the last couple of games. I think they probably all has a little bit of a chat and went, look, you know what I mean? It's been a good period for 90% of this dressing room has seen it. Extremely successful period, whether you talk about trophies or the fact that you talk about we took one of the best Premier League teams to the wire on such a regular basis, and obviously been successful in Europe. I don't think you're going to see the level of petulance and bitchiness almost in the last couple of games. I wouldn't think so. Just on the back of that, though, I mean, it's one of the notes you've made, and it's a big question. And you just brought it up there, almost saying, well, Klopp's not going to be here. Which of the players, I think 2 questions really, which of the players do you think will leave for one reason or another anyway? And which of the players would you like to see leave? Almost, you know what, we need a fresh start.
It's a great question. I actually got on the podcast and got a bit of stick here on the season. I said, let Salah go. I actually said, if Jota, Gakpo, Diaz and Nunez can't score enough goals between them, then they don't deserve to be Liverpool players. Well, we actually kept Salah, and the other 4, didn't score enough goals. So we kind of, it proved me right in a way. I think Salah will go. I think it'd be stupid all round, I think, to keep him. And again, I know I said that last season, but it's like the money we can get now for him. He's only got, I think, a year left on his contract, or eight might be 18 months a year. It's either going to make him sign again, or you've got to sell him. So I personally lean more to selling him. I think if you can get 100 million still for him now, which I don't know whether they would, but if you could get 100 million for him at 30, 31, I'd maybe let him go. As much as I love him, and that's not saying he wouldn't get in the team if he stayed next season. Of course he would, but I just think from a business point of view, they might look on pushing him on. I'd look at getting rid of Nunez, believe it or not, for a like-for-like striker. You know, if you can almost recoup your money back from him, I am just not convinced he's going to improve his kind of... I don't think obviously you can always improve your finishing with that kind of natural finishing that maybe Jota's got, or, you know, strikers of the past, like your kind of Fowler, your Torres type kind of players have got. I don't think he'll ever get that. And I think if they could really replace him for a like-for-like striker with similar money-wise, I'd potentially look at letting him go.
Well, the thing is, with respect, and again, I wind people up, this isn't the case. With your budget, you can't afford to have a 60, 70 million pound striker who doesn't score every week. Do you know what I mean? So even if you sell him for 60 million and you get someone for 80 who's going to be that player, you know, you aren't in a position, I don't think, to have what City have got in a Julian Alvarez sitting on the bench going, well, let's bring him in, he's 40 million. But I don't know. I mean,
it is a real tough one. I might end up with egg on my face next season. He's our top goal scorer, which would be great, and I'd love not more than that. But I just think if Salah does go, you're telling me every Liverpool fan's going to be happy with Darwin Nunez being our star striker? I don't think so. So I potentially, you know, him. I potentially be concerned with the likes of Trent and Van Dijk. I don't think they'll go this year, but I think they need to get tied down on big contracts, and I'm just putting myself in Van Dijk and Trent's shoes now and thinking, this Arne Slot's coming in. No disrespect to him, because again, he could be a great manager, but if he comes in, Virgil van Dijk's won absolutely everything. He's captain of the Dutch team, captain of the Liverpool team. He's got every trophy you could win. And Arne Slot starts coming in, almost, you know, telling them, I want to do this, I want to do that. If he doesn't get the respect of Van Dijk, why will Van Dijk stay? Do you know what I mean?
And you know what? It's actually a dangerous thing, I think. Someone as influential as Van Dijk could literally decide within 2 training sessions not having him, and the whole squad are not into it. So I always think when you bring a new manager in, I almost think the biggest personalities have got to go out the door, or you haven't got a chance. You've seen it at United when they've retained some of the players who've been through various different areas, various different managers, are respected in the game, respected in the dressing room. If they're not having that manager, the manager hasn't got a chance, hasn't got a prayer.
You make a great point that Liverpool have, I say famously, if you're a red, you'll know this, I've got this kind of leadership group. I think it's got Trent, Robbo, Van Dijk, Salah. I think that might be them.
It was Henderson, wasn't it? It was obviously Henderson, wasn't it? Yeah.
But I think at the minute, in this current squad, I think it's Robbo, Trent, Van Dijk.
Yeah, Alisson, of course. Alisson.
So there's the 5. If 1, 2...
Keep 3 of the 5.
If 1, 2 of them start saying, hey, I'm not having this manager, and then that then seeps into the rest of the squad straight away, like you've just said, you know, it all could fall down. So I think it's going to be massive to try and tie some of them down on big contracts. And maybe if you let Salah go, maybe. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm not going to start saying, oh, let's ship him out. But I think the Van Dijk, Trent, and Salah contract situation, I think, needs to get sorted ASAP. And I think I'm going to keep any 2. It'll be Van Dijk and Trent, and maybe let Mo go, as much as it'll break my heart. Onto the blue boys then. I mean, listen, Sean Dyche.
Call him Dyche now, because he's got Van Dijk in his centre back pocket. Well, back pocket.
Well, Sean Dyche goes from
took his name.
He goes from wearing a suit to wearing trackies, and suddenly Everton are unbeatable. You know, what's that? 3 wins on the spin, is it now? And yeah, clear of relegation for another season. Still off the field problems, which we'll touch on. I don't want to bring you down too much, but I mean, there is that still kind of dark cloud on the horizon of more 7-7 issues. I've seen one of their companies had some planes landed or something that they couldn't take off because of debts or something. But forget that for a minute. On the field, you know, you have done great. And I think any Blues, I was in a taxi the other day with an Evertonian who again, despite the successes, was still having none of Sean Dyche, which I personally find baffling. But I'm sure you'll be able to know more Blues that still aren't having them. But I think as an outsider looking in, I think everything he's had to put up with, they're almost sinking ship that you were in on and off the field. The points deductions, almost this kind of feeling of the Premier League's against you. You know, coming up against Liverpool who are going for the title to get a derby victory. All in all, I mean, I don't think you can say any of the naysayers. They need to just maybe have a week off, don't they?
Well, certainly, I think you can't not ask them to have a week off, and they probably have had a week off and have enjoyed that week off. With the results we've got, and obviously, as you say, the Derby victory, which was double-edged, double-edged dose of joy to take it away, finally take it away from news and pretty much seal it for us. But going back to the whole tight thing, it's I think you make a very valid point and a good point in that he and the group of players have had to deal with so much that to get us the equivalent of what would be 42 points now we would be on if it weren't for the deductions, it is remarkable. Not only the deduction stuff hanging over us, but all the off-field turmoil of the finances, the ownership. It's Sean Dyche actually said after the Brentford game, he says he believes that if we wouldn't have had that second deduction hanging over us, we wouldn't have went on that barren run. It was just like the players were like, for God's sake, it was just there all the time, like a monkey on your back you couldn't shake until the decision came. And if you look at you can't argue with that narrative, because if you look at when the two decisions were made, almost the minute they were made, the next game we just kicked back in again. So it's like you can't disagree with that, because the first deduction got made, you went on that mad run of winning like 4 or 5 out of 6 games. Then suddenly it was you're going to get another deduction, and then we went on a barren run. The decision got made, 2 points, right? Forget about that now, and then we went on a good run again. So
the thing I'll say on that, and it's a shame really for the players, because you'll never actually know. It's impossible to work out, but it's easy saying, like the great point you've made. As soon as they knew it was a bit upheaval, it was this, then that. You don't know what's going through their heads. I mean, I know, listen, they're all multimillionaires. I'm not saying, they're crying poverty, but you don't know the stress they're under, thinking they might have had meetings being told, lads, in 2 weeks you might not be getting paid. Or they're thinking next season I've got to have to move my whole family. All these things because of off the field stuff's going on. That has to have an impact on you. I don't care who you are. You're finishing training, or you get back with bad results, and your missus says, well, you have to go home and say to your missus, listen, we might be moving next season. Might have to move house. The kids have to move school. All that thing, I think as fans, you sometimes forget, don't you?
Without doubt, the better players, certainly the ones who, and you know what, even some of the weaker players. So you've got your agents in your ear going, listen, I'm going to try and get you to move here because you don't want this kind of noise all the time. You've got the fact that nearly all of the players in that squad haven't got relegation release clauses, because that's how naive we were when we signed them, which wasn't a good thing for us, by the way, but also wasn't a good thing for them. They're facing the prospect of, I might lose my contract and not get my wages because the club might go into administration. That's like, it's the worst possible working environment for anyone, regardless of what industry you're in. And again, I harp on all the time on this podcast and on our podcast about footballers and this industry just being like any other industry. It's got a lot of people who are good at their jobs, can have good days, can have bad days. The best people have more good days. The mediocre people have a bit of a mix. But ultimately, they're just people. They're still people. And it's still a people commodity business. The players and the fans are what make it tick, and obviously the coaches. But all of us are human. And, when it comes to the attitude towards Dyche, it's the same. Some people prefer a certain thing. Some people will see a glass half full. Some people will see a glass half empty. Some people won't factor in any of them things and go, do you know what? So what? The footy's crap. And his attitude stinks and this, that and the other. So it depends what you like, really. I think I'm of the opinion, and you know what? And I've been both sides. When we're going through that run, I'm like, this is grim. It's grim. The footy's awful. Doesn't seem to be any change. He's not changing anything. He's not doing this. He's not doing that. But then in my calmest moments, I'll go, well, what can he do? We haven't got much depth in the squad. We haven't actually got an abundance of quality. You've got Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who's been playing at 70% fitness all year, scared to kind of put his foot down on the gas as he did against Hughes. You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. But going back to the original point, you can't not give credit for the last few performances and the fact that they've, the chips are down. You went, listen, we need to win a few games here, and they've done exactly that, and they've done it in pretty clinical fashion in the end. So
I wouldn't have minded the Sean Dyche pep talk in one of Liverpool's changing ministry for the last 3 games, to be fair. It's kind of the talk that we needed. But no, listen, everyone will know I'm bitter. I get called bitter enough on social media, but listen, fair play to you. He's done what's needed and safe for another season.
Yeah, and obviously we've got Luton to come tomorrow night, and again we were talking on our podcast this week. For me, it's a chance to for Sean Dyche, going back briefly to the Sean Dyche point, if we lose our next 3 games, Luton away, Sheffield United at home, and Arsenal away, which you probably will lose anyway, it'll be like, get rid of this and dinosaur. Do you know what I mean? He's done his job, and now again he's back to losing games. But if we beat Luton on Friday, beat Sheffield United at home, and put in a credible performance against Arsenal, you got people going, well done. You know, people might start buying into the narrative that Sean Dyche is selling. So I think it's a really interesting last few games for us now. The pressure's off, but you'll see whether these players and this manager really want to push on, or whether they're just happy for mediocrity, because that's all it is now. You know, finishing just outside the relegation zone is not what even, you know, in the most negative Evertonians' eyes, it's not what this club's about and not what we want to be about forever. So let's see what they're made of the last few games. And, you know, you mentioned about Jordan Pickford's got a chance for the Golden Glove. He's got a good chance of keeping 2 clean sheets. Luton, whether we like it or not, regardless of the decent run he has in Purple Patch, they're still a poor side. Sheffield United are a poor side. That should be, on paper, 2 good chances to keep clean sheets. And if he does that, he's in with the chance of the Golden Glove, which is a brilliant accolade for him, but also a brilliant accolade for Sean Dyche and the team as well, to keep that many clean sheets in a season.
And I think, you know, it just says for any the kind of haters on Sean Dyche to say that you kind of goalie's got to, you know, won the Golden Glove, and you just might not have the strikes. You can put the ball in the back.
Fourth best defence in the league by some distance.
Yeah, so I think there's probably a lot more positives. You just need to look a little bit deeper than probably how the league table is if you're a Blue.
Yeah, without doubt. But moving on to the teams that have got something to play for, which is the top ends of the league and the bottom ends. We've got Arsenal on 80 points, City on 79 points. I mean, it couldn't be much tighter, really, in that if City, particularly because they've got Arsenal's goal swing, it only needs City to draw 1 game out of Wolves, Fulham, Spurs and West Ham, and Arsenal to beat Bournemouth, beat Man United, again, as easily, and us last game of the season.
Yeah,
I can't see that going any other way. The more you look at those fixtures, the more you think, do you know what? A City can easily draw one of them.
I'll be honest, I want City to win the league, 100%.
Because you don't want someone else to.
Yeah, because do you know what? Again, I had a bit of stick this week on social media because I had to pop at that baldy, cheating bastard Pep Guardiola, and people said I'm obsessed with Man City. I'm not obsessed with Man City, right? But I can't have anyone talk about Man City's success, right? Listen, if you want to talk about Pep Guardiola's success and Man City's success, talk about it. But just mention at the end of each of that you want to talk about it, just mention at the end of each sentence that they've got 115 charges of cheating above their head. Talk about them winning the treble. Talk about winning the European Cup. Talk about winning potentially 4 league titles. Talk about it all you want. But just mention at the end, but they have got 115 charges over their head.
They're not his charges, though, are they? It's past the point that some people make. They're not his charges. He isn't responsible for all them charges.
All right.
Like, he might be culpable.
That's like saying you're I own a business, right, and you're the director, right? And I said to you, listen, Gary, don't ask me any questions because
the director, though, is he?
Listen, I'm the fellow who owns it, and I've said to you, listen, I'm going to put you in charge, right? Listen, don't ask no questions, and you won't get no silly answers. But there's a big bag of money there. Do what you want with it to make our business the best you can. All right, marketing wise, staff wise, this wise, do what you want. I'll take just And he's went sound, and he's went and done exactly what he's been told, and he's done great at it. Fair play, but the fella at the top has fucking cheated like fuck to make sure he's there. So fine, yeah, Pep Guardiola, great manager, but he's done it with 115 charges over him. So, Lord about how great he is as a manager, Lord about how fucking great Man City are, that is fine, that doesn't bother me. But just put an asterisk at the end and say, this is with 115 charges. So the reason I want Man City to win this league is because I don't want another team to be able to say, oh, we beat them as well. Because at this moment...
Exactly, so it is bitter. It is,
of course,
whichever way you look at it. You just don't want someone else to have said, well, you know what, we've overcome the big guys, we've won the David and Goliath battle as well.
Exactly.
But isn't that good for footy, though? Isn't that good for footy to show that, you know what, you can overhaul it? No.
I think it'd be better. It'd be better if Liverpool were the only team to do it, because, and that would be better. It would be better for football, right? In hindsight, in 10 years down the road, right, when Man City have been rightfully charged for all the cheating they've done, people will look back at this period and go, you know, when Man City won 7 Premier League titles on the row and we end up like the French league, PSG, or the German league with Bayern winning, what was it, 11 or 12 on the spin, people will look at the Prem and go, we should never allow that level of cheating to ever happen again when a team can win 5, 6, 7, 8 Premier Leagues title on the road. And I think Liverpool will have a little bit of kudos to the name, and they can go, actually, you know what? Klopp's team, despite all of that cheating.
That's what I mean. No, so you're doing it. You're right. You've just put a little sentence in the middle to make it sound like it's all about football. But you're saying that just because you want Liverpool to have been the only team to have beat them while they cheated.
There's 2 reasons why. One is because of that, and 2, if anyone else wins it, it diminishes the football argument.
But it doesn't.
It does. All right. Okay. So Bayern Munich have won, what was it, 11 or 12 titles on the spin. Leverkusen, the first team to do it, right? Let's say, for example, Pep stays another 5 years and they win another 5 titles. So they will have won what? They've won 3 at the minute, 4 plus that one. So let's say they will have won 9 in 10 years, right? And Liverpool were the only team to have done it, right? That's very similar to what Bayern have done with Leverkusen, right? Now let's just say though Arsenal win it this year. It only becomes 8 out of 10 then, doesn't it? So I think the more you can kind of get it, they've won 9 out of 10. Do you know what I mean? It's more about, this is wrong, this something needs changing. And I think it makes more of the neutral football fans look at it and say, actually, you know what? It's bullshit. It's bullshit. And it don't, listen, I'll hold my hand up. Obviously it is. It makes that Liverpool team look that extra bit special. But in a general football kind of view, man, you can't have a team with 115 charges hanging over the head, continuing to spend by the best players, the best coaches, and win a league every year, because it'll get boring.
Yeah, but again, this plays to the fact that, okay, so now it's something that we should be fighting against, and we should be fighting against the Premier League because it's the top teams that are affected. Not when us and Forest are getting dock points for being like 5 million, 20 million, 30 million over. And you look at the fact that yous are raking in so much more commercial revenue, spending more than us, but the fact yous are getting more money in, so that's fair as well. So
I'm not saying that's fair, Gary. I'm not saying it's fair, Gary.
Isn't it? You were on the podcast a few months ago saying, well, you know, you can't keep playing the guilty cards when you were guilty. You did spend more money. Yeah, we spend more money to try and keep up and to try and catch up. No, I get that. Poorly. That's it. But it wasn't a case of anyone being, you know, underhanded then. It wasn't a case of saying, well, you know, it's not fair. It was like, oh no, you spent more, so you need to get punished.
Gary, my point on that was, by the way, firstly, I agree with you, football does need to overhaul. I don't know what that is, but let that for the people who know more about it. But it does need an overhaul for both the top of and the bottom. My point was to you, is they've said you've broke the rules, right? So they've docked you. They've said Man City broke the rules, but they're away scot-free. That's my issue with it. When I was saying to you, you have broke the rules, you've got to deal with it. That was because whatever rules were they played, you have broke them, and you've got to suffer the consequences. City have broke these rules, and nothing's happened to them. Do you know
why
would
you want them to keep winning titles? Because let's be honest, it's not. Nothing's going to happen. And nothing's going to happen in terms of nothing's going to happen in terms of retrospective action. So we know for a fact that's not going to happen. It's not. And 2, we probably know they're never going to. Now they're going to change the rules to make it potentially more difficult for them to continue to do this. Why would you want them to win another title under false pretense?
I'll tell you why. If they keep on winning titles in this manner that they are, all right, listen, this season
close though, isn't it?
Close. Yeah, this season's been a bit close, and there's been Liverpool have been close a couple of times. But apart from that, it's been a bit of a walkover, and Man City gonna win the league most seasons. Are people bothered about the French league? No. Are people bothered about the German league? No. Why? Because there's only one team that can win it. The Premier League will turn into that, and that's why I want Man City to win, because it will just, I think, in the long term, just make people think, what's the point in watching? And that's what the Premier League do not want to happen.
Fair enough.
So that's my theory.
Yeah.
With regards,
so who will win it then? So you're saying you'd like Man City to win? Do you still believe they will? I mean, look, I've said to you a few times, I still, despite the fact that it's a lot more interesting and the more you look at the fixtures, I still don't see City dropping any points.
And you know what? I think they will win it. And you know, if they don't, he should be sacked anyway. If they don't win it. So you think it's good enough for a Man City manager to only win the FA Cup if he wins that? He's got 115 charges and he's spent billions. He's got Haaland in his team, the best striker in the world. Kevin De Bruyne, the best fucking midfielder in his team. He's got Kyle Walker, one of the best, John Stones, some of the best defenders in his team. Ederson, the best goalie in his team. He's got a World Cup winner, Alcaraz on the bench, and that's just naming 5 or 6 of them. If he doesn't win the league this season, he needs to be sacked.
I think if the two teams up until this point, or up until 2 weeks ago, i.e. and Arsenal hadn't performed out of your skins to keep up with them, then I might believe you. If they'd lost like 10 games, 11 games, then it's like, yeah, that's just embarrassing. But they've gone out to a Real Madrid team again who are probably going to win the Champions League and have won it countless times and have just got they've got a cheat code for the Champions League.
They are, but it's not a great Real Madrid team, Gary. It's not a fantastic Real Madrid team that they've came up against.
It's a fantastic team. It's not a fantastic group. I get what you're saying, that they're not the Galacticos that we've seen in terms of absolutely ridiculous individuals, but it's a team that and a manager that are just formidable in that competition. Yeah. And in fairness, they absolutely battered them for probably 80% of the 2 ties, just couldn't get over the line. And as a manager, I don't agree that is on him. The players didn't take the chances in those moments when Real Madrid did. But
the fact that they're out the Champions League, I think, listen, I'm just my bitterness has come out, I apologise, but I just think the fact that they're off the Champions League, I think the league's theirs is done. And I think, like you said, again, you called it like you have many times in a lot of things this season. I think you said that, the 3 that come up will go down, and I think as much as I want Luton to stay up, although, I wouldn't mind, well, I'd love
Forest to go down.
I'd love Forest to go down. I went to Forest away and their fans, within 5 minutes, was singing tragedy, with tragedy, chatting about Hillsborough within 5 minutes. Horrible set of fans.
Horrible, really bitter fans. Them make us look like angels, to be fair.
Yeah, I'd love Forest to go down. I'd love Luton to stay up, but I think Luton will go down, unfortunately.
The reason I'd like Luton to stay up is because they'll just go down the following season because they're rubbish, them, and they don't look like they're going to spend money or they've got intention of doing that. I just think it's inevitable the following season. That's one less team or one more team that are going to take up those positions. And I think the teams that are coming up are pretty poor as well. I mean, Ipswich, credit to them, and the manager, Kieran McKenna, done a brilliant job, and it's admirable, but that team and squad is not good enough. And so they'll either need to do a Forest and replace them all, which would be a shame. And I don't think they'll do that. I don't think Kieran McKenna would do that. Or they're going to learn the hard way that the Premier League is more than one league above the Championship.
Yeah. On that note, I know we put our 40 bets out every week on Patreon. Ipswich is the ultimate banker. They'll probably be on one of our shells this week.
It's probably going to be 1 to 6, though, isn't it?
Probably, but I had the midweek, and I think they are going to be odds on by a long shot to get the win. That takes them up automatically this weekend. The only other thing, mate, on football, we've done it probably the longest we've chatted on footy, as it is down to the business end of the season. You'd expect nothing less. But do you remember we spoke about the Lille manager? Not Lille, Rems, is it? Rems manager.
Rems, yeah.
Rems. His name's, I put it down in the notes there. His name is, I think he was born in, he speaks English anyway. I think he might be
the
Belgian.
ginger fella.
Yeah. What's his name? I put it down notes.
Yeah. I'm just.
He's going to be leaving. He's leaving at the end of the season, and I think
the one who basically hasn't got no badges and just played champ. Will Still.
That's it. So he was basically, the club were basically, fronting his kind of £5,000 fine.
He's only 31, yeah.
So he never had his badges, and his club were just fronting a £5,000 fine each week.
Yeah, he's actually just left, hasn't he?
Yeah, or if not the end of the season. So I think
he's left. He's actually left.
Okay,
left by mutual consent.
I think, I'd get him in a job. I reckon, I'd put a little punt on this, not that you could ever have a bet on it, but I think by Christmas, he'll be managing the Premier League. Let a couple of them get sacked in October, November, and I think he'll be a shoo-in for someone to come in.
Fucking be proper Everton, that. And get some fucking ginger fella who plays champ and things. He'll probably get smashed by everyone and go down like the lowest point tally ever.
The only other one on managers, though, like that, I think, obviously, Arne Slot, it looks like it's inevitable he's going to be the Liverpool manager. But the one I'm actually a bit raising my eyebrows off that he hasn't been linked enough is Tuchel. Thomas Tuchel. I'm surprised he's not been linked as much to the Liverpool job. I think he had great stock. He's doing really well. He got a great result with Dortmund. Dortmund. Who's he with?
Bayern.
Dortmund's in it.
Bayern.
Bayern. And I think, yeah, she's actually making a great punt at the Champions League, although he didn't do well in the German league. You just think, don't you? Never know.
I've never been personally having him, you know. Honestly, like underwhelming at Chelsea, which is something about his manner, and I don't know.
I never judge a manager, sorry, on what they perform like at Chelsea. I think if Chelsea's not a club where you can kind of judge a manager.
No, I know what you mean, but and if you discount the Chelsea job, you could argue with saying he hasn't really done a bad job at Bayern. I mean, Bayern the season again, you'd probably say, look, it's just been the extraordinary form of Leverkusen. But if you're going to criticise Pep for not exploiting the monopoly that could be the Premier League by Man City, then you can't not criticise Tuchel for not leading Bayern, at least to being closer to Leverkusen.
But he's doing it in the Champions League, though. That's the only caveat you can give him.
I mean, one more round, maybe one more round. We don't know. And you could argue you just got an easy draw in the last round, and that's why they're through. Or easier draw. I don't know. It's not really for me, Tuchel. But again, he was the manager who won the Champions League for Chelsea, though, wasn't he? When they won 1-0, and Havertz scored.
I think he's been in 3 or 4 Champions League finals. You know, he's done all right. His CV, you know, bodes okay compared to I think what the public's opinion of him is.
On the subject of the Champions League, we've gone past the relegation there, but I think the general consensus was we think Luton will go down, we hope Forest will go down. Burnley have got an outside shot, but you look at the fact they've got to play Newcastle and Spurs, who've still got a lot to play for, and then they've got a massive game against Forest, last game of the season. It looks unlikely. Moving on to the Champions League, then obviously the first 2 legs. Strange game, that Bayern one. I'm sure you watched it. It was like Bayern were in control in the early parts of the game, should have scored. Real Madrid then scored out of nowhere. Then Bayern came out, scored 2. Real Madrid kind of just scored 1 out of nowhere. It was, although you look at it thinking 2-2, wow, what a first leg that was. I actually thought the Dortmund PSG game was a better spectacle.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I thought when I saw Bayern go up at one point, I was like, what is going on here? Like, I just didn't expect that in my years ever, Bayern to be going ahead. I did honestly think of Arsenal fans when Kane scores, Arsenal, if they don't win the league and Harry Kane somehow manages to win the Champions League, I just think it'd be so funny for an Arsenal fan. Yeah. I mean, I know they're not, probably that bothered what Kane does in his life now, but I just think, how crazy would that be? But yeah, I agree. I mean, I didn't see the Dortmund result coming either. I thought this could be Mbappe's, best chance to win the Champions League finally before he leaves PSG. Yeah. And again, Dortmund, just 1-0. I mean, it's going to be tough for them again going away to try and do it in Paris, but they've left themselves a great chance, haven't they? Yeah,
100%. I mean, it's it'll be really interesting in Paris, and it was a very underwhelming performance in some respect by PSG, but there were some great chances there as well for them to score.
I think PSG, by the way, will end up going through. I think there's no way they're not scoring at least 1. And if they get 1, they could get 2, and if not, they could go through on pens. I think PSG will make the final.
They should have really won last night. They had enough chances to win the game in the second half last night, and I just think they got to do it a little bit slow at the blocks, and I can't see them getting caught cold the way they did last night at home.
Yeah. No, I agree.
A few more points I've got to dash myself in a minute. Just quickly cover the boxing. I mean, you'd have probably been licking your lips again in another story where it was a shock result, but then the shock result of Garcia beating Haney is followed up by an Osterden positive test for Osterden. The thing with Osterden, you can't like say that Osterden is because you've had a bad steak or whatever. It's just a blatant PED that it just doesn't appear in anything but a deliberate attempt to try and get an advantage on the opponent. Obviously, you've compared it in the notes there to Amir Khan's positive test, and he just disappeared, and he was like, yeah, I'm just going to take that on the chin and walk away.
Mate, all these boxers are on more testosterone than my 2-monthly injection that I have to get legally. Honestly, mate, it just brings the sport. I mean, you have some great stories that come of the nights. Everyone, jams out on a high. Boxing's back. Wow, what a night. A new superstar is born. Give it 2 weeks, the drug tests come in. They're all cheats. Honestly, I'm done with it. It's an absolute farce. And then when you got Tyson on in the background with with the YouTuber. I think, just boxing for me, painting itself in its normal light. And I mean, I know you love it, and it can be great and there are some great fights and some great superstars, but this is just another stain, isn't it, on what's been, I think, quite a positive few months for boxing.
Yeah, 100%. On the positive note, massive fight coming up this weekend. Another potential drug cheat, as people might think. Canelo against Munguai, who's got all the belts in that division, undefeated in 43 fights, absolute tank. That should be a barnstorm, really. And I think if Canelo stays the right size of legal in terms of preparation for the fight, then I actually fancy Munguai to beat him.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I really do. I think, although Canelo is still relatively young from an age perspective, he's got a lot of miles on the tank now. And he's
depends if he's been eating that
last few fights.
If he's been eating
a Mexican steak, that's what I mean. Yeah, if he stays the right side of gotta say the right side of the league, he actually doesn't cheat in the run to the fight. But yeah, I fancy Munguai to win that one at the weekends. But I'll be away camping, so I won't actually get to watch it. And then, again, all the news on social media, certainly from a scout point of view, has been around Dennis McCann and McGrail. The matchup later in the year, obviously, McCann beat one of McGrail's gym mates very recently in his last fight. There was a little bit of needle there anyway. I don't know who actually posted the first kind of little bit of a teaser. I was going to say,
I love nothing more than lads just getting around during a bit of Instagram stories. You forget you're Eddie Earn and Frank Warren's just a little bit of I'll slide into your DMs and do a little story and tag you and you want to have a fight. I love all that. So whoever initiated the first DM,
I think it was McCann, to be fair, but obviously straight away he's bit, and it looks very likely it's going to happen now, and it'll be a hell of a fight. And again, there's a little bit of needle there because he's beat McGrail's gym mate, so
yeah. Brilliant.
Massive. Could be a really, really big fight on the horizon there. And obviously in 2 weeks' time, you've got the Fury-Usyk fight, which we'll talk about a bit more next week coming up. Yeah. But I mean, one thing I will say, Fury looks like he's in really decent nick.
You still think it's happening? Because I've seen Usyk come out and say, let's just make sure you're there, give the people what you want. I mean,
I don't think Fury puts the effort he has to get in the nick he is without dropping out again later. It's just
okay. What I will say, on the 2nd of June at 5-6 it is. So actually it's probably 5-7. It's
2nd of May.
2nd of May.
2nd of June, the fight would have always took place.
Sorry, the 2nd of June at 5-6. I will say, not that it would be Fury's fault, but I would put a little cheeky fiver on the fight not happening. And I think that would be a fiver well spent if you were getting.
Not going to happen this time. Not going to happen.
Okay.
Not going to happen, mate. We have got a lot more sports that we could cover. I haven't got the time. I've got to dash. I've got to take my daughter to an appointment. But just briefly on the dart, gutted to see Price withdraw from Aberdeen with a back injury. I mean, that's it's certainly not what you want to see. But it's been a great few weeks for Luke Littler, hasn't it? He continues to kind of keep digging out results. It's a second European Tour victory that he got last week. Top of the pile in the Premier League. I actually predicted that I thought he'd fall away as the year went on, but we're now into May and he's still riding the wave.
I was going to say the gravy train's still going, but it's the kebab train, isn't it? It's still
the kebab train, yeah. He's probably partial to some KFC gravy as well. Like, I'm sure he is.
Probably, yeah. But yeah, I think he's doing well. I mean, how long it will, like you say, go for, we don't know. The last thing I will say, because I know you're precious for time, is the only other one big sport. One is Ronnie O'Sullivan, knocked out the World Snooker Championships. I thought 8 times it was potentially going to be this year. He got beat. But the other big thing about the match was it was the kind of conduct. A lot of the fans who were watching were coming in late. It's a bit like Wimbledon, the tennis. Once the play starts, you're meant to not go to your seats. There was people coming in and out. So he kind of just stopped playing, and the referee come over and said, what are you stopping for? And he's saying, well, can you get the crowd to stop coming in and out when I'm taking a shot? So there was a bit of, I think there was 3.5, 4 minutes at one point in between shots. And when the referee went over to Ronnie, who happened to be a young lady, it looked like, she said, Ronnie, can you come? And Ronnie was like, are you going to sort the crowd out first? And she said, I have, can you come? And then Ronnie said, yeah, calm down, I'm coming now. And already it's been blasted all over social media that he's being passively aggressive and he's being
Not sexist, that's, you know what I mean, yeah.
No, but he's speaking down to women, or if it wasn't a woman, he wouldn't have said that type thing and stuff. I personally have watched the clip back. I think Ronnie was well within his rights to be a bit pissed off of what was going on, and he ends up getting beat in the match, and an 8th world title eludes him. But it was just another kind of opportunity for people who want to put the maverick that is Ronnie O'Sullivan down. And there's been a few articles already that have kind of got the clause into him. So if you want to see what happened and what people are being said, that's definitely worth looking at as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I think my opinion on stuff like that is, obviously it's not a sport that you're accustomed with noise and things like that working, but both players have got to deal with that. So I think you either deal with it or you don't deal with it. And again, all right, the referees deal with it maybe, but it's not like it was only specifically to Ronnie's shot. It was happening anyway. Both players had to deal with it.
If you watch the clip, listen, it didn't know you. It would annoy.
Oh, of course, it didn't know you.
It would. So I think a lot's been made of it. Oh, Ronnie's, it's not a good look for the sport. Ronnie shouldn't be speaking to people like this. Fuck all that. I mean, listen, he was well within his rights to have a moan and stuff, and I don't think the referee was the most experienced ref and didn't handle it well, and there's now a bit of a hoo-ha going on about it, where I think it was yeah, but I think Ronnie was in the right, to be fair.
Unlike Pep, though, Ronnie's one of your mates, so I think we can take that with a pinch of salt as well.
Anyway.
Right. I'll have to shoot, mate. Even though you're the one on holiday, I've got some.
No, mate, I appreciate your time. I appreciate your time as always, and thanks everyone for listening. Please like, share, comment, and all that. And your footy tips will be up on Patreon on Saturday morning, and we'll see you next week.